Kamar Johnson, CEO of GTT Commercial Tires here. And today I'm gonna walk you through our GTT 5-point tire inspection that you can use on your next used or recap tire purchase to make it a good one. We have 3 tires here today that we will check out. And there's 5 things that we're gonna look for and check out thoroughly. The tread, DOT date, sidewall, patchwork, and any irregular wear. So we'll start with this Michelin. This is a used one, it's a virgin. So we're gonna look at the tread here. What we wanna do is feel and make sure that we don't have any tread in the middle that is higher than any of the others. That would lead to a very rough, bumpy ride. In addition to that, we're gonna wanna look in between the tread to ensure that we don't see any wire showing or any cracks that would demonstrate dry rotting that is getting bad. That could be problematic. And then of course, which I know a lot of you guys, that's where your eyes go to first, is the tread depth. As you can see here, this tire was well maintained. It held up good from a tread depth perspective, probably around 30 seconds or so. But instead of guessing, let's use our tread depth gauge to ensure that we are buying a tire that meets the needs. So put that there, put that there. 30 seconds on the head. Winner, winner. We got a winner. Then we want to look at the sidewall, and what we're looking for here is to ensure that we don't see, again, any cracks or any showing or sign of dry rotting. Because a tire, of course, is out in the elements pretty much around the clock. So whether it's hot, whether it's raining, whether it's cold, snowing, and the life and death of the tire is the sidewall. That's where tires blow from. Despite how much tread you have or don't, tires blow from the sidewall, so we always want to make sure that the integrity has not been compromised. And then we will check the other side. So far, this tire would be passable as a purchase, as a nice used tire. But we still want to check the DOT. So the last 2 years is going to show you when the year of this tire was when it was produced or manufactured. 22 is fine. We're in 24. Generally speaking, 5 years is a good rule of thumb. It's a good practice because the longer that the tire has been in operation, the more weather conditions that it's been exposed to, which heightens and increases the ability for this tire to have the sidewall integrity become more compromised. And then we want to check for patches. And as you can see, this tire does have a patch in it. Now, patches are not bad, so long as they have been professionally installed and stops any and all air leaks that of course was an issue prior to being patched. Let's check out tire number 2. Good tread, probably around 13 to 30 seconds, give or take, I would guess. Tread seemed to have wore evenly. Yeah, no patches, nor do we see any cracking or gashes or cuts within the tread. So far, this tire would be passable as well. Let's check DOT. DOT. So this guy is a 21. Also would be passable. But what you will see is despite the tread looking good, despite there being no cracks or wire showing within the tread, no patches, what we do see is dry rotting that has taken effect around the sidewall where you have these gashes that almost look like cuts, but that is just the rubber separating from itself due to the fact of it being exposed to the weather conditions and not holding up as well, which is a fickle thing. You can have one brand that holds up exceptionally well and you can have another one that doesn't, or vice versa. You can have one that you've had experience with that held up before but not so much. And it all comes down to the rubber compounds and the raw materials that are sourced, along with maintaining the appropriate air pressures, doing the seasonality. So when it's hot, a little bit lower. When it's colder, a little bit higher, just depending on your size. So it's a lot of factors that can be at play, but this is absolutely a tire that you would not want to purchase because, again, the integrity of a tire is in the sidewall. And when this becomes compromised, problems happen, blowouts happen, and those are no good for anyone. And then the third tire here we will check out. DOT is a 22, so once again, that would be digestible. Sidewall does not appear to have any dry rotting or cracking going on like tire 2, so that's good. Both sides of the sidewall check out there. This tire also does not appear to have any patches. All right, so we will move on to the tread, and what we will notice is there is quite a bit going on here. So we have some shoulder depression wear, and so essentially what you guys are seeing is pretty self-explanatory, but you got lumps and chunks on the sidewall where it's not wearing evenly. And then you also have some heel toe going on within the actual tread design, which essentially is just the tread is not even. So you have some high spots and some low spots. And we got many cuts and gashes in here, so let's thoroughly check it out to see if we can find any wire, which would be a DOT infraction. They'd shut you down if they see that. Yep, we got wire, another winner. So despite tread depth on this tire, which looks to be probably around 830 seconds or so, being passable, it not having any sidewall issues in the sense of it being an older DOT past 5 years, no cracks or anything in the sidewall, this tire would not be a good purchase because of all of the damage and wear and tear that it has gone through. And so what I would encourage you guys to do is definitely check out the GTT tire wear and care series that goes over all of the different things to also look for on your own tires that are currently on your vehicles to ensure that you're not coming into encounter with anything that could be problematic, and also how to spot these things before they become an issue. And now let's go check out these recaps. So here we have a new recap, and I know a lot of you all are fans of them, and that's fine. Few things before we get started. Keep in mind, these are best used during lower temperature seasons, so not preferred in the summer. Reason being, a recap is a old casing that then has new tread applied to it and sealed together with a rubber adhesive or glue, and then put inside of a oven for tires, if you will, that seals it all together. And so, of course, as you can imagine, when the road gets hot and it's hot temperatures outside, glue, rubber, things start to unwind and come apart. So just know that. However, it does make for a decent purchase at times because generally speaking, these will be cheaper than buying a new virgin tire. And I remember that I didn't mention earlier, a virgin is just a brand new tire, typically speaking, that has not been recapped. And when it's a used virgin, it is still the original tire in its original state that just, again, has not been recapped. So I definitely wanted to clarify that just so that you guys are on the same page with me. And so what we want to look for is those same 5 things. We want to check for if there's any patchwork. We want to look for any irregular wear, which typically shouldn't be the case because it's a new tread placed on an old casing. And the casing, for what it's worth, is just the original body of the tire. Okay? We then will still want to look at the sidewall. We also will want to look for the DOT date. But in addition to the DOT date on a recap, we also want to see, sometimes some recappers will put the date that they actually recapped the tire. And we also want to look at the sidewall to see how many stamps are on the sidewall that will indicate how many times the tire has been recapped. Also important, generally speaking, you don't want to go over 3 caps. If it's been recapped more than 3 times, my rule of thumb is stay away from it. Okay, so let's see what we got. Of course, again, the tread is new, so not really much to check here. Everything should be intact, but never hurts to double check. Because what you can also sometimes see is maybe some inconsistencies in how it all came together. That actually is something that you would want to check out. in the tread, that is. But you're not gonna be looking for any cracks or any wire because it's a new piece of tread that's been put onto it. Then we'll look at the sidewall. And sidewall is in good condition here. Now, I will caution you guys, sometimes when a tire has been recapped in this area, you don't see it on this tire, but sometimes it can give off an image that looks and appears to be dry rotting, but it isn't. It is just almost the reaction of the tire being inside of that hot oven that cooks and essentially seals the adhesive and the glue of the new tread onto the old casing or the body of the tire. So don't be alarmed if you see that. We do want to check for the DOT, which is a 21. That's good. Now, see, here is the mark that I was telling you guys about. So this indicates that it has only been recapped one time because we see no other markings or no other stamps on the sidewall. That is something to, again, always check out and look for on recap tires because that will let you know how many times it's been recapped. And then we'll look for patchwork, which I will tell you guys, you will see and to expect in recap tires because, again, remember, it is essentially the old body of a prior tire that has then just had new tread applied to it. But in this one, there isn't any. And again, there's no irregular wear, there's no cracks or anything to check for. I would want to pull you guys in to see something here. So again, when you see things like this, please don't be alarmed. This is, again, just showing that it has been put together and fused together between adhesive and heat to make it seal. But that's nothing to be alarmed about. And so, this tire would be a good purchase for you, considering the weather and the climate of where you are and how you run. Just make sure, preferably, that you're purchasing a used or new recap rather in climate conditions where it's lower temperature. You do not want to necessarily be running these, ideally, in summer months. Problematic. This is how they get exposed to blowing at a lot higher or an increased percentage of a rate. If you found this video of value, if you know another trucker that could benefit from it, and if you would like to continue to see more things like this, I would be grateful if you were to like it, share it, comment on anything that I might have spoken on that you would like to learn more about, or if you just have some additions to some of the things that I said, or maybe some things that I didn't mention, or any topics that would be of interest to you. Subscribe, like, comment. See you on the next video.